Okay,
in
now
that
it just
sense.
sounds like you're backtracking because I'm confused. Reiterate what your point is. If
So
a
my
man
point
isn't
is,
working, wait, if a man is not working and not providing, is he less of a man? Yes or no? Before you were saying yes. Well, honestly, and I think there's probably going to be some people listening that might be a little surprised, but like, I somewhat agree that sometimes the pronoun thing can get a little bit out there since pronouns.
Oh, so they're real. The demons are real.
No. Okay. Are you being bad faith or are you just.
No, I'm serious. I want to know, like, what do you think? Like, how can you
Okay,
explain
I'm
that?
serious. Are you being bad faith or are you retarded?
yo, what's up, sir?
What did you want to debate today?
Anything except for the pro BLM.
Okay, well, what up here on my thing do you want to debate?
We'll go ahead and start with you can choose between LGBT and toxic masculinity.
Okay, let's start with toxic masculinity.
Okay. So, what are we going to debate?
Well, do you think the toxic masculinity is legit? Do you think it's real? Do you disagree with the concept?
Yeah, I disagree with I honestly both agree and disagree with the concept. While I do think it is kind of true nowadays, sometimes with only certain type of people, but I also do think that what most people would say toxic masculinity is a lie, and they're just
What do you
used
think
to the
most people
to the perversion of what we're basically indoctrinated to.
Okay, so what do you think people are saying toxic masculinity is?
Basically just wanting to be a man. You know, what you call yourself as a man totally is what you believe. You feel me? What
Yeah, but
you believe.
that's the
So
problem right
if
there.
no. Can I get my thought off?
All right, go ahead.
Please, sir. So if I for example, if I believe that being a man is being this so-called like alpha warrior, whatever you want to call it, then that's what that person believes. They have the full right to go ahead and pursue that life. If you think being a man is something the complete opposite of that, that's your full interpretation.
I don't.
Well, it
Toxic
doesn't matter what you
masculinity
think,
is
because
so
whatever you
stupid.
think is your opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're giving me opinions right now. You're telling me that the alpha warrior man that's what he believes. That's his opinion.
Well,
Yes.
because that's really what is like broadcasted when I think of
Yes,
like what
but what I'm
people say
talking about
toxic masculinity is.
Excuse me, sir, if I could just get my thought out, please. So
Yes, sir.
what I was saying was toxic masculinity, you have it all wrong. Toxic masculinity does not actually mean attacking men or deeming it as toxic that men want to act like men. What toxic masculinity is recognizing that the social expectations surrounding what it means to be masculine, how to act masculine, some of those social expectations, not all of them, but some of them are harmful, not just to other people, but to the man himself. So when you talk about like the alpha warrior or whatever, that's associated with a lot of things like suppressing your emotion, which is then associated with a lot of very dangerous mental health problems that are then, it's a risk, it's toxic to the man, and it's even toxic to people that might be around that man. So actually what this is just advocating for the best interests of men.
Okay, I would agree to a certain extent. While I agree with most of what you just said, there is a part of it that's people are just using that label and just attacking men. You can't act like that doesn't exist.
But there's always going to be people like that. Like there's people that attack people blindly, calling them liberal or Nazi or conservative or whatever. Like, so there's always going to be people like that. What it actually means, though, is what matters.
Okay, and what is that exactly? I'm sorry. Can you please say one more time?
Toxic masculinity just refers to the harmful societal expectations placed on men about what it means to be a man. Men are taught often from a young age, don't be showing a lot of emotion. You know, you're acting like a girl. That's something common that men will hear. And a lot of the times it's acting like a woman is akin to being bad. You throw like a girl means you throw bad. And that in and of itself is also toxic because you're being taught from an early age to have this superiority complex between you and then women.
So can I give my take on that?
Sure.
Okay, so this is
Sorry, what?
sorry, I'm getting spammed with calls. I'm getting spammed with calls from this girl. Sorry. Um, so when people are saying these things, you like you said, you're doing this like a woman. Usually, this is like referring to the traditional sense of like a man should be able to do this and that, and if he isn't able to, you're not a man, which I would agree upon.
You would agree that that's harmful, or you would agree with that sentiment?
I would agree that men need to be told the truth with no sugarcoating because men lack direction in
What
this
is the
generation in general. So if we just continue to like, basically what I agree on is that men are I'm sorry, I'm not gonna curse. Men are soft and like,
What's the truth? I hear you. You're kind of ranting about men being soft and everything else. What is the truth that men need to hear?
well, what I'm saying, if someone, so say you're doing something in like, okay, say you are unable to fulfill what you're expected upon as a man, people are going to say things, hurtful things to you as they should, because you
Why are you
yourself
not
are
able to
failing.
fulfill those things?
I'm sorry?
What if it's a situation like the guy loses his job? Should he be like mocked or made fun of or told that he's less of a man because he's currently not providing?
Well,
He has
it's
to lose his
okay. So
job.
this is the thing. A lot of people say they lose their job, but it's like, are you waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go look for a new job the next day?
Why
I
do you
doubt
need
it.
to do that? If
So
you're
no,
working,
you're
if you're
not
looking
being the
for another
best. You're
job,
not being a real man at that
wait,
point.
okay, you're doing the thing fucking right now, okay, and this is embarrassing. So first and foremost, this notion that a real man is defined by his productivity and his ability to achieve and produce, that is toxic masculinity. What that looks like now is the guy who loses his job suddenly, maybe he got an injury or something, suddenly now he is not a man. He's now a piece of
No,
shit
sir.
pussy boy,
But this is the
according to
thing.
you. And even more so, what's even worse is they've done studies where they looked at men who have embraced your kind of mindset. And what they found is when those types of men lose their jobs, they are more likely to get divorced afterwards. And not because the woman is evil and trying to leave, but because the man has such low self esteem because he has been taught his entire life that your duty as a man is to do this and be this way, that it destroys him and even ruins his marriage. So
Well,
what
that's
you're doing
his
right now
fault
is
in my
setting men
in
up
my
for
opinion.
failure.
That's his fault.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
It's the
is.
fault
We
of
are
the
all
type of
responsible for our own
socialization.
lives.
No, shh, quiet. It's the type of, or excuse me, it's the fault of the type of socialization and the type of attitudes that you are promoting right now. You are literally telling men that they have to do certain things and produce certain things, or else they're not real men.
Yes, that's exactly what I believe.
Okay, so then you have a pathetically like I don't
And
know,
no. I'm
stupid
sorry,
view of
sir.
what it
I
means to
misspoke.
be a
I
man.
misspoke. If that is your, if that is what you want out of your life, if you just want to be a traditional so-called man that provides and has a family and is that kind of man, then yes, you need to be doing those things. If
Okay,
you
and what
think
if you're a man
differently,
who
then that's
doesn't?
perfectly okay.
Okay, what if you're a man who doesn't?
Then that's your life, and you
So
don't
is
need
that
to
person
listen
less
to
of a
anyone
man?
else because you need to do what you want to do. Your destiny is your own to create.
So
No
would that
one
guy be
else.
less of a man?
You can't let other noise, like you can't let things like that get to you.
Okay,
And
now
that's
it just sounds like you're backtracking because I'm confused. Reiterate what your point is. If
so
a
my
man
point
isn't
is,
working, wait, if a man is not working and not providing, is he less of a man? Yes or no? Before you were saying yes.
does he have a family?
Let's say he has a family, but he's a stay-at-home dad. The wife works. Is he less of a man?
I mean, in some people's eyes, yes.
Stop
But
backtracking.
me,
You're being a fucking beta right now, dude. Okay?
ow,
Don't come
I'm
on here
telling
and try to argue with me about
I'm
masculinity.
being a bait.
No.
So now you're resorting
Don't come
to
on here and
insults.
start arguing with me about masculinity.
I never
Pussyfoot
threw one, I
around the
never said
fucking
one
question.
rude thing to you this whole time. I never
I
insulted
don't care.
you or
Actually, you've
anything.
said many rude
You
things. that
resulted
insulted
to
my brain
insults.
cells. You've said many
I'm
rude
sorry?
things that have already insulted my brain cells.
It
Okay?
doesn't matter.
So
I never said anything disrespectful to you or nothing. So the
I
fact
don't
that you're
care. You've
resorting to
disrespected my
insult, it
intelligence with your
shows
dumb
that
fuck.
you're lacking.
You've disrespected my intelligence with your dumb fuckery.
And you're lacking as a man.
So here is the deal, okay?
Sorry.
If there is a man who is at home and he's with the kids and the wife is working, is he less of a man? According to you, I'm not asking what other people think.
Honestly, no, because the fact that he has that life set up for him, it's established his role. So
Okay.
then no, he's not less of a man. But to someone that is in the eyes of most people, maybe.
Thank you. Yep, he's not less of a man. Correct. Thank you for walking back the toxic masculinity bullshit. Cool. All right, who's next? Is there anybody else that wants to get destroyed? Let's see.
I'd like to ask why you're atheist, like specifically atheist.
Yeah, well, to be clear, I do not assert there is no God. That's more of like a positive claim. I just make a claim that there's not enough evidence to convince me that there is a God.
All right. So like you just you don't think there's enough evidence for specifically like Christianity?
For Christianity or for like for a creator of the earth, all of these things, yeah.
Personally, as a Christian, like I think it'd be easier for me to debate Christianity than it would to be for me to debate like Islam or something.
Well, that's honestly, I was raised Christian myself, so
okay. What turned you away?
It was just a lot. Like I mean, first of all, I was raised Christian, so I was pretty heavily indoctrinated into it from a young age, and that caused me like a lot of anxiety and stress throughout my life and everything.
But then, kind of being forced into it. Yeah, I get that.
But then after that, I did then begin actually investigating like Christianity. What are the teachings? Everything else, and there are just so many foundational, like fundamental problems with Christianity, and it's just really. It was hard for me to continue believing it.
Okay. What was the main one that was like there's just no way that this can be like?
Well, there's a lot of problems. I mean, like for one, you have the whole issue with Jesus dying on the cross. Like I find that to be very counterintuitive. Like first of all, God set up the rules. God then made the tree with the knowledge of good and evil, which is the tree of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil, which means what? That if they hadn't eaten that, they don't have the knowledge of good and evil, correct?
Yeah.
So how then would they have even known that what they were doing when God said, don't eat this, was wrong? They did not even have that knowledge. So God very clearly set it up from the start for humanity to fail. Then God enforced these rigid and ridiculous rules that everybody knows it's impossible for any human being to reach those rules. And then God says, because I arbitrarily made these rules and you cannot reach them, I am going to punish you, or you can believe in me, believe in my son and everything else, and you can be, saved. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's basically like a massive gaslight. God is the one that put us in this position, and then we're supposed to praise him for saving us from the position he initially put us in?
I can see where you're coming from that, but the Jesus dying on the cross part, we have to we can, I mean, everyone can make up a lie, but like I find it hard to believe that people would die brutal deaths and stick to something to stick to a lie, because like the 12 apostles, 11 of them died brutal deaths. They were like tortured and killed.
To be clear, I think that they, like the disciples, believed it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the same could be said about Islam, right? Like the 9/11 terrorist attacks. I mean, how could somebody really be motivated by their religion to fly like an airplane into the Twin Towers unless it was true? But of course we would say, well, no, that doesn't actually make Islam true. So just if somebody's like dedicated to the belief does not really speak to the truthfulness of it. Like, for example, did you know that the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those are not their names. they were anonymous authors, and then they were given arbitrary names by the church later on. We don't
Yeah,
even
that's like the name of the books.
we don't even have the original manuscripts.
I mean, you can go back and learn like Greek and Aramaic and like all the languages that Jesus spoke and all the different authors, because there's I don't know the exact number, but there's 66 books, so there's a bunch of different authors, and I know there's like First Corinthians and Second Corinthians, so there's like the same authors for those, but there's a bunch of different authors. So
Why don't I ask you why are you a Christian?
well, you said that we can't really believe the eyewitness testimonies, but I mean, so many people are. I believe the eyewitness testimonies because I don't think that someone could be crucified and still say that they want to be a Christian. And like, this is before like it was really installed. So it's like, why are you dying on this belief? Like, 11 people died on this belief, and they were like tortured and killed and stuff. So that
So how would you respond then to the people that say, okay, well, Muslims flew airplanes into the Twin Towers, so Islam is true? They were willing to die brutal deaths.
that is true, but the Bible also has so many connections to each other, and it's so like foundationally like it's one story, but it's 66 books. It's like, how are these all connected?
But it's not actually. Like there's a whole ton of contradictions with God's character with the Old Testament versus the New Testament. Like, how come God is said to be perfectly just and perfectly moral? And this is the thing I bring up to Christians all the time. But God is okay with slavery in the Old Testament. Deliberately, God is okay with his people getting slaves from the nations around them. And God himself says, from the nations around you, you can buy slaves. They will become your property. You can give them to your kids because they're your property. So like stuff like this, that was Leviticus 25:44, I believe. Like, how is God moral then? Why is God saying something that is deliberately immoral here?
Like in the Old Testament, I don't know the exact scriptures or anything like that, but I know that he kind of was like, there is a scripture that says like to be nice to your slaves in the Old Testament, because it was so foundationally like put in that slavery was okay. Like,
but God, see, this is the same argument I have with Christians a lot. And I'm not trying to cut you off, but like, God was okay saying not to do other things that were heavily ingrained at the time. Like, it was very okay to eat shellfish at the time, but God had no problem being like, hey, do not do that. No, no, no. But then when it came to slavery, God's like, I don't know about that one. If you're at a computer, you should really look up Leviticus 25:44 through 46. And then you can read the full chapter, and it begins with, the Lord said to Moses. So God himself said, quote, your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clan born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. Like, does that kind of concern you at all?
a little bit, but at the same time, the Bible also like reinforces that Jesus, like, there's ceremonial law, and then there's different kinds of like law,
God gave law for his people at the specific time. To be clear, I'm not saying Christians nowadays are going to try to bring slavery back or something because of this Bible verse. What I'm saying, though, is that God is... I'm not saying this is a thing on Christians. This is an argument against God himself and his character. Because if God is 100% moral, as God would need to be in order to be justifiably God, then how is it possible that God is okay with something this egregious and immoral taking place? Even if it was at that time, that's a contradiction of God's character. It's like God saying, "Hey, it's okay for you to steal today." Like we'd all be like, "Wait, what the hell?" No, no, God always says, "Don't steal. It's wrong to steal." Why is he changing it?
That's that's a that's a fair argument. Um, God was not the first Donald Trump. What? Bro, what?
I think
Wait a
that
minute.
position's floating around. But yeah, if
Yeah.
I were you, I would check out this verse.
All right. I'm
What's that?
if I click the home button, I don't know if it like lets me keep talking,
Okay.
but I will definitely check it out after we're done, like here. But
Okay.
um, but there, like,
Well, hey, I mean,
I was
I appreciate you calling in. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
pro LGBTQ, right?
Yeah. Actually, people were asking about that, so good timing.
Yeah. With Giger, you know what that is? Like those are pronouns. Like Giger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think like it can only go so far before it's like, what are we doing here? I think we gotta set like a ground where like at this point, what is Giger? Like, what is that? I don't understand. Like, I know what non-binary is. I know that's you identifying as a not gender, but like, what is Giger? You know?
Well, honestly, and I think there's probably going to be some people listening that might be a little surprised, but like, I somewhat agree that sometimes the pronoun thing can get a little bit out there since pronouns are technically designed to make our speech more efficient and allow for us to communicate in quicker ways. So obviously, like if you need to ask for a specific pronoun, if it cannot be determined, then it does kind of start to change a little bit more into like a nickname almost. So I would probably even find some common ground with you there that like, yeah, sometimes the pronoun thing can get a little bit crazy. But how do you feel about trans people themselves? Because like obviously some people taking the pronoun thing too far or whatever, that doesn't invalidate trans people, right?
Right. I think like trans people, like, I think like they can identify as how they want, live your life because as I said out earlier, Jesus says to love everyone and to, like not to be hateful and stuff. So, um, you know, I try to not like hate on gays or blacks or any race or any like thing like that. So, you know,
Well, yeah, but you can still say like, I'm not asking you to, I mean, start hating, but like if you disagree, you disagree. We can talk about it.
okay, yeah, like I think transgenders, they're like because we're born male and female. Um, it's just like I don't I don't understand completely on how um
Like how it even works.
yeah.
Well, let me explain it to you this way. So, like, I'm sure you've heard people try to break down to you like the difference between sex and gender.
Uh, I I think I've had that. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like sex obviously refers to just that male, female, these kind of reproductive organs, hormones, chromosomes, biology, basically, things that are not easily changed, right? That's all sex. And so I'm not disagreeing with you with that at all. The way it is right now, yes, people generally are born either male or female. There is intersex, but generally, yeah, we are able to categorize people based on male or female biologically. Gender is a whole other thing, though. So like, think about it this way: if a brand new baby's born, okay, and you took the baby boy and put him in a padded room, and he grew up in this padded room without any social engagement, he probably wouldn't grow up to just naturally, biologically, like the color blue, want to wear his hair short, like trucks and stuff like this, right? Like those are gendered expectations. So what happens
Yeah.
is people have a biology, and their parents say, okay, based on your biological makeup, we are going to treat you this way, and we are going to expect this from you. And that's gender. So gender is just the social thing, sex is the biology. And then there are some people who have a mismatch. There's a misalignment there, and they don't feel comfortable with the set of expectations and social roles that they're expected to adhere to because they don't feel like they fit with those gender roles specifically.
Yeah. I understand that. Um, I think that's just more of a social construct, like how gender is a social construct and then it's biology. So I just agree with you on that. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you
Hopefully,
disagree, or okay? If you don't want to talk
no, I
anymore,
agree with you. Like it's a social construct, and uh, like people can act how they want. So I agree with that.
all right, cool. Well, hey, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. When you were talking, I didn't want to cut you off or anything, but I had said blacks, and they said that that was really triggering. I'm sorry to the person who said that. I did not mean to be triggering, but I don't know what else to say.
You should just, you should say black people.
I know.
See you, man.
I'd first like to ask a question, and it would be for LGBT.
Okay.
What are your opinions on like universal bathrooms, or maybe like letting trans men or trans women like use the bathrooms that they want to? I'd like your stance on that first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I mean, you don't think that there might be like anything like going on through like, you know, malintent with like someone wanting to like identify as this gender just to, you know, like try to sneak their way into like the opposite gender's bathroom?
Yeah, but let me ask you something right now. If there was a really creepy guy, right, and he like just a regular looking man, if he's a really creepy man and he saw like a young girl walk into the women's bathroom and there was no one around, would he be able, yes or no, to just walk in the women's bathroom after her?
I hope not.
Well, wouldn't he be able to? Who's going to stop him from just walking into the public bathroom?
You're right. Unless there's like no actual security there, then
There's no like guard at the door. The thing is people with bad intent will do bad things regardless. People with bad intent are not going to abuse like the trans policy to somehow get in there, because even if there was a legitimate trans person using the bathroom that corresponded with their gender, and then I don't know, they took out a camera and started photographing people in the bathroom or something, that person would be arrested. It doesn't matter that they're trans or not, right? Like if they break the law, they break the law. And plus, they've done some studies where they looked at states where gender neutral bathrooms were implemented, and those states did not have any increase of reports involving assault or violence or anything of the sort.
oh, that's nice. I was just asking off of like curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't truly believe this. Just kind of being like a devil's advocate a little bit.
No, I get you.
But
What happened to being toucan sexual, bro?
The cringy conservative days. Now what you want to
Watch
say?
your videos. I told everyone in school I was a toucan sexual because of you, bro. Now you switched up on us.
I'm sorry that I brought you down into the cringe, but now you can rise above it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the new hunter. So you think God's fake, right?
I mean, I don't really think he's fake. I just don't think there's enough evidence to support the claim that
Okay,
God.
so there's actually a Japanese study done on plants, and to one plant they told you, "I hate you, I hate you, I hate you," and to the other plant they said, "I love you, I love you, I love you."
Yeah,
And
I
the
know.
plant. So can you explain that with your molecules and your science?
Well, first and foremost, that has nothing to do with God. Second of all, yeah, I can. It was actually based on the soil they used. If you looked at the soil, there was differences.
You're saying it was because of soil?
Yes, you
Okay,
can
let's
read
say it was
about that.
because of the
That's
soil.
a study that's like laughed at, my dude. That study is a joke.
So you don't believe in manifestations and positive mindsets? That's all prayer.
Wait, hold on. Of course, I believe in positive mindsets. Having a positive mindset is very beneficial. Whether or not you yell at a plant when it grows is going to have no effect on how the plant grows.
No, they weren't yelling. They were endearingly saying, "I love you," and that's a real study. You're just coping. And
I'm not
yeah,
coping.
but
I've
so
already
what do you
read
think?
about this study, and I've read about it debunked as well, but I'll look it
So,
up for you right now.
so what do you think about like Jeffrey?
What?
Do you know Jeffrey?
No.
What do you think? Why was he doing that on that island?
Oh, Epstein. What are you talking about? You're changing the subject.
Because it's a proof that I'm trying to prove that Satanists exist, and if Satanists exist and they manifest material wealth like money and fame, that must mean that God also exists, because there is no devil without God. And clearly these people worship Moloch or Baal. So if you can prove to me that, so do you think that they were just doing that for fun? Or do you think they were worshiping something?
They were worshiping something?
Of course they were worshiping something. You
Wait,
think
okay, no, I was asking you. So are you just what are you getting at right now? Just come out and say it. Are you saying that there's like a big conspiracy with the government or something? Are you saying that
I'm
like
saying that these
elites,
people
pedophile
manifested
elites are running the government? Like just what?
I'm saying that these people manifested material success and wealth through worshiping a demon. And if that demon actually brought them this material success and wealth, that must mean that God exists.
If anything, it would mean the demon exists.
But if the demon exists, the God also exists. And you can't have one without the
No,
other.
no, no, no. That is completely wrong, and that is also an illogical way of thinking. Just if one thing exists doesn't mean everything else about it is true. Not at all.
So you think only demons exist?
No, I don't think any of that stuff exists.
So why were they
I'm saying
doing
that?
that
If you're
then?
saying that they were praying to a demon and the demon granted them a bunch of wealth,
Of course, bro. You think they all
God
just
is real. If anything, it sounds like it proves the demon's real.
so they're real. The demons are real.
No, okay. Are you being bad faith, or are you
No,
just?
I'm serious. I want to know, like, what do you think? Like, how can you
Okay,
explain
I'm
that?
serious. Are you being bad faith, or are you retarded?
Whoa, that's hurts my feelings, bro. Please.
Yes or no?
No, I'm actually being. I'm retarded then. If that's what you want, I'm
Oh, okay.
retarded.
Well, then I don't know why I'm wasting my time talking to you.
Run, bro.
Bye bye. Yeah. Run, bro, run. Again, remember, if somebody accuses you of running when you don't want to put up with their fucking bullshit, then oh well. That's a slur. Don't worry, I can say it because I am. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in today. I've got some great debates today. Really lots of fun. I see there are still some really dumb people in chat, but of course we will fight with them next time.